man whose girlfriend got pregnant, and he found out that the baby isn't his. So finally OP did this to his girlfriend's affair partner. I, 28 male, have been with my GF 25 female for just about 2 years. The relationship was good and then she tells me she's pregnant. For the most part, I'm careful and she said she was on birth control. I was skeptical but went to an appointment. I then figured it was just one of those things. I always wanted a family, so even though this was not how I wanted to begin, I was overjoyed. We're past the first trimester and I have her move in at her insistence. We're planning what we will do work-wise and how to set up the baby's room. She is pretty insistent she will go back to work but be able to stay home. She swears she can make it work. I go to every appointment with her. Things are still good. We're in the 3rd trimester and I make my schedule work to still go to every appointment. Up until this point, I had been at each appointment in its entirety. This one appointment, she asks me to wait so she can talk to the doctor first. I'm super concerned that something is wrong with the baby and she didn't want me to hear. I go in and the checkup is done. Everything looks good. My GF brushes off my concern over why I couldn't be there for all of it. We're about a month and a half from the due date and I notice her being kind of secretive with phone calls and texts. She tells me it's work and it's confidential, etc. My antenna is now up, so I try to get looks at her phone. She's got Snapchat and Kik. I find it strange but don't confront her. The baby is born and I'm overwhelmed with emotion. The child is perfect and things went fine. Then comes the part where they want me to go on the birth certificate. My GF becomes really insistent about it. She's constantly asking me to do it and seems way more anxious I've ever seen her. Here's the red flag I didn't miss. I don't do it. We have an argument but she stops pushing. I think it's because she knows how suspect it looks already. We're home and she has to go tend to the baby after it woke up. I noticed she set her phone down to go to the baby. I couldn't help it and looked. It was still unlocked. I start looking for texts or calls. I then find a whole conversation on Kik with a guy. All the updates of her appointments. Pictures of her and the baby. Then I see it. The place she says she thinks it's his child. I confront her and she apologizes. She admits the baby could be mine or someone else, but she thinks it's mine. I demand a paternity test and leave. It's been about a week since the confrontation. The results came in yesterday and the baby isn't mine. She's gone to live with her mother. Here's the best part. It took me a lot of digging, seeing as all I had were usernames. She talked to him too. The father is her boss. The secrecy was for him. The boss with a wife and 4 kids in middle and high school. I found the wife on Facebook and sent her all I had, including texts from my GF saying it's his. I'm heartbroken so many ways. I'm lucky in a lot of ways here, but I'm so hurt. This has completely changed my whole outlook. I'm bitter, angry, and untrusting. I have no idea how to recover from this. I'm sorry. Dodged a huge bullet. That poor wife of the AP. Glad you told her. At least you are not tied to her like the AP's wife is tied to him. Literally no contact with your ex. She is trash of the highest order. I applaud you for listening to your gut and taking action. A lot of people make the mistake of ignoring the red flags and end up investing more of themselves and their time, only to get blindsided at some point. I would also like to applaud you for letting the other wife know. She deserved to. Also, I am sorry for the pain you are going through. It is soul-crushing. But it is not permanent. Take some time to grieve, but definitely start therapy if you can. Taking a professional's help in processing all of this will help you immensely. Also start making some changes in your own personal life to help yourself move on, like changing your routine and get rid of anything that belonged to her or will remind you of her. If you get ahead of this on time, you get to control the situation and your outcome. If you don't, you risk slipping into a depression which could end up taking a toll on you, your health, and a lot of other things, like your financial situation, your social life, etc. You dumped her and exposed her affair and child to the AP's wife. Good job. Now, take your time to grieve your loss, look after yourself, and realize that you were fooled by who she lied to you to be, and that none of this is your fault. Then take another moment to think how lucky you are to have dodged this bullet. It doesn't feel like it, but you were darned lucky. It could have gone down way worse and cost you years of your life and a child you have already raised. This might sound really crazy, but I am so happy for you. I am so glad this happened now and you get to leave and have a chance of finding someone truly good to start a family with. And you will experience the joy of having your first child in a true, healthy, and living relationship. And that the child born into that situation will have a good life. You win. I want to triple high-five you for telling the wife of the AP. This is going to hurt her, but it will also set her free from this dangerous man she is married to. 100% this is not his first affair. 100% he is putting her life at risk of getting STDs that could kill her. It may be hard to see it all and understand now, but imagine how this could have been 5 years on, with a second child that actually is yours and now you are strapped to her for life. This moment is a victory. Good job on the paternity test. Paternity fraud is the only form of fraud with no consequences for the perpetrator. It should be effing illegal, and every birth should come with a mandatory paternity test before any birth certificate can be filled out. The paternity test should be stapled to the birth certificate or should be a component of it. No exceptions. I've still not spoken to her. I can't bring myself to. I'm conflicted because I still bonded with that baby. Yet I am not the father. That is painful. She still tries to contact me. I don't know if it's love. I won't talk to her. On to the guy who is the father. I told his wife. She didn't respond immediately. I found out through my ex that he lost his job. There's some justice in the world. He won't have anything to do with my ex. He blames her for the mess he's currently in. His wife contacted me over a week later. She apologized for what I went through. She was still in shock, I guess. She kicked him out. I have no idea where he went. Their kids know. Everyone knows. My ex still works there but is in the process to find a new job, seeing as literally everyone knows what happened now. I'm still in shock some and still heartbroken. This holiday will be tough and sad for me. I know there's hope. I know it will get better. This shook me to my core and I don't know how long it'll take. I'm ready to swear off any relationship ever again. You are obviously a great guy, and you were smart enough to catch that last red flag before you signed any birth certificate. You are also plenty young enough to start all over from scratch, have a long-lasting and satisfying relationship, and even have your own kids. Feel your feelings now, resolve everything as best as you can. And when you're not really looking, something will come your way. As bad as this ordeal has been for you, and it certainly has, be thankful you did not put your name on the birth certificate. Be thankful that her ruse was uncovered and that she is now stuck living with the consequences of her actions, and none, and I mean none, of the blame can be attributed to you in any way. What a deceived human being. I feel so sad for the child. This weekend my husband's close friend M told me that he's been cheating on me. My husband is adamantly denying it, but I'm divorcing him anyway. We've been married for 1.5 years, together for 5. He is a functioning alcoholic and goes to the bar 5 times a week and stays till close. We are both lawyers, but he was unemployed for 3 years of our relationship, so I supported us for years and paid for the wedding. He's verbally abusive, jealous, and possessive. He constantly accuses me of cheating on him, makes up wild accusations, and calls me names. I'm not allowed to go out to socialize without him, though he goes out partying by himself regularly. He's harassed and threatened male friends for liking a photo on Instagram. He constantly criticizes me, rolls his eyes and sighs whenever I talk to him, and regularly makes sensual comments about other women. He says I owe him a trio because I've had one in the distant past, and gets depressed when I refuse. I caught him texting an ex-flame, and he lied and denied until I pulled out the screenshots. I thought about leaving many times, but stayed because I wanted to honor my commitment. I loved him, and our dog was diagnosed with brain cancer. Fast forward to Friday night. We are all at a friend's house for a party, and hubby's close friend M and I have a heart-to-heart. M is with hubby almost every night. I tell M that the one thing I want in my relationship is respect. M gets very serious and says he's only going to tell me this once, but I need to get a divorce as soon as possible. At first he won't tell me why, but I explain that this is my entire life on the line, that I'm about to have kids with this man, and I deserve to make an informed decision. M starts to cry and says it's the worst news he's ever had to tell anyone. He's so sorry, but my husband has been cheating on me at the bar. He's gone home with multiple women, told M to lie to me, and then come home and gotten in my bed. M gives me all the gritty details, answers all my questions, and gives me names of witnesses to corroborate. Later that night at home I confront husband and tell him I know he's cheating. He immediately pulls out his phone and starts recording me. He says I'm drunk and crazy, that actually I cheated on him, that I was a child for not revealing my sources, and that I didn't actually believe he cheated because I was so calm. He denied, ignored, and gone back down to the bar every night since then, because I've made things so uncomfortable. Hubby has been adamantly trying to figure out who told me. Several friends have reported him texting and calling them late night asking if they know why his wife is mad. I'm as concerned about his safety because hubby is a raging loose cannon. Now I'm looking at apartments and talking with a divorce lawyer this week. It feels a little like I'm throwing my marriage away, but infidelity is the last straw for me. I need out. I know you're in the middle of a crap show, but there's something insanely refreshing about hearing that someone actually clued you in and gave you the information you needed to make decisions for yourself. Honesty from anyone anywhere was so absent in my situation. I'm glad for you that you got the information and are being decisive now that you have it, and before you had kids together. This all sounds like a poor situation to bring children into, and you would have been left to deal with all the parental strain while he continued the same behaviors. The extreme gaslighting and theatrics on his part are deplorable. Whatever you are throwing away is a toxic crap show to begin with. No child deserves to be brought into this environment. Learn the value of gray rock and the 180 method. Consider getting therapy. Your soon-to-be ex is a terrible, abusive human being and has left you with long-lasting damage. He did nothing to empathize with your feelings. He only cares about control. You need to take control of the situation. Ask your divorce lawyer for tips on how to deal with a loose cannon and guarantee your safety and the integrity of your property. A TRO is definitely in order. File and get one as soon as possible. Stay safe. If your soon-to-be ex-husband is a danger to his friends and acquaintances, he can be a danger to you too. Guy sounds like a menace to society. If your house catches on fire and you run outside to save yourself, you're technically throwing your house away. Your marriage is on fire. It's time to think seriously about saving yourself. My husband is getting more and more unhinged. Last night he came home from the bar, got in bed and put his arm around me. I immediately took his arm off. He then says sorry about putting my arm around you. I was asleep and dreaming of someone else. He then proceeds to keep me up all night until around 8 a.m. He alternates between screaming at me, denying, telling me I'm throwing away our marriage, telling me he loves me, threatening to expose all my indiscretions, none, to my entire family, trying to call my mom to talk some sense into me, then apologizing for being mean to me, then crying and asking me what to do, then screaming at me again. He tells me to get out of our bed because he bought it with his ex, so I move to the couch, but he follows me and continues his tantrum. He tells me that he knew from the moment he met me I was going to ruin his life. He also tells me that he thinks he knows what incident I'm talking about, and that I've got it completely wrong and 10 people can verify. I pretty much stay completely quiet, except to tell him not to call my mom. She knows everything anyways. I asked him today if he wants to tell me what incident he was referring to. He answered no because it's a trap. My anxiety is through the roof. I'm putting in applications for an apartment and talking to a lawyer tomorrow. I still can't help the nagging feeling that I'm throwing away my marriage, but I know that's not true in my heart. It feels like my life is falling apart, but I can only imagine it's better on the other side of this chaos. Leave as soon as possible. He is escalating. He definitely has an alcohol problem and most likely other substance abuse problems. You are not safe there anymore. Get your essentials and go to a hotel. You need to get an STD check. You are a lawyer, you know what can happen. He has lost control and will continue to spiral down. It is not your responsibility to fix him or your marriage. You can't help someone who refuses to be helped. I know this is not what you wanted in your marriage. I hope you stay safe. The way he's acting is abusive and frightening. Even without the betrayal, he seems very toxic. You deserve so much more. Stay safe. Please keep yourself safe. First and foremost, follow through with the divorce lawyer and new apt. Then have family or friends come and help you pack on move-out day. Hopefully peace through numbers on your side. I hope and pray for your strong spirit through this. The other side awaits. Pack up your clothes and go stay at a hotel near your work if possible. If he gets too angry and mean, call the cops and get a restraining order. Get away from him and do it when he's at work or at the bar. He is blame shifting by saying you are the one throwing away the marriage. Trust me, he is toxic. Leave him. Seriously worried about your safety. The guy is clearly not becoming unhinged. He is already unhinged. Your safety is in danger. This post screams of a dangerous situation and you must act immediately to get out of harm's way. Go to a hotel and do not tell him where you are. He is not well and you do not need to become a statistic. You are throwing away marriage, but that's what we do with trash. Trash like a functioning alcoholic with unpredictable and aggressive behavior that is putting you in immediate danger. Marriage is an ideal that takes two to live up to. Since he isn't, you don't have one. Time to make that reality a legal one through divorce proceedings. Now get the hell out of that house before the next action he takes gets him on the news. I found an apartment, borrowed money from my dad to pay the deposit, and got the keys on Thursday. That night I called the domestic violence hotline and came up with an escape plan. Husband goes to the bar every night at 7 p.m. With my last $500, I hired 2 movers and a cargo truck to arrive at 8:30 p.m. Friday evening arrives, husband leaves for the bar at 7:30. It's go time. My heart is about to jump out my chest and I'm drenched in sweat. I gather all my important documents and start dumping as many of my clothes and belongings into trash bags until the movers arrive. The 3 of us get what we can fit into the truck in half an hour. I leave half my belongings behind. I smell his pillow one last time and tell the empty room I'm so sorry, but I have to go. I kiss our recently passed dog's urn and tell her I love her and I'm sorry to leave her. I look out our bedroom one last time and memorize the scene. I catch my 2 cats, put them into one carrier and jump in an Uber by 9:15. That was it, I was finally out. That night I get a text that M, husband's best friend who told me about the cheating, confessed to husband that he told me. Husband told M that he had been lying to M about cheating to brag. Husband told M he brought him into this community and trusted him. How could he do this? 2 a.m. arrives and husband gets home to find me gone. He calls me twice and I don't pick up. He texts several of my friends to ask where I am and that he's worried about me. All he texts me, though, is an angry message about taking one of the rocks from our rock collection, asking when I'm coming to pick up the rest of my stuff, and good luck dealing with the fact that I bounced on the marital household based on hearsay. Then he texts me that M lied to me. I don't respond. Next morning I wake up to a text from my bank. Our joint bank account initially had $100 for him to eat. Turns out husband drained the account so it now sits at -$700. So now I'm completely broke, and then some. I freeze the account. Friends report seeing husband at the bar at 4 p.m. wearing sunglasses. He's pretending everything is great. Later that night he tries to charge a large bar tab to the debit card. It declines. He then tries to order food 5 more times. Each time the card declines. Then around 10 p.m. last night, he texts me, so am I supposed to ask if we're over, or is that supposed to be too as obvious as it seems? I don't respond. Half an hour later he texts, got it. Thanks, best of luck. I don't respond. Then he texts me some random advice about not accepting drinks from strangers. It's dangerous. Okay, that's all. Take care. Wish you all the best. I don't respond. I haven't heard from him since, but a friend reported seeing him at the bar again today, which was otherwise completely empty. He has blocked me on all social media. His behavior after I left only confirms I made the right decision. I think he would have hurt me if I stayed one more night. I'm 10% devastated, 80% relieved, and 10% lonely. But I'm not constantly anxious anymore and I slept better than I have in 5 years. Now time for the divorce. Stay no contact. There's a reason why you had to escape from this person. A breakup should be simple, but he's never going to make it simple for you. Right now he's using aggression to keep you in line, so don't give him the opportunity to use pity and guilt to keep you by his side. No one deserves a relationship where their partner actively avoids them multiple evenings a week. You sound like a loving and caring person. You care about your animals and have hobbies. You deserve someone who looks forward to seeing you every evening. Thank you so much for watching till the end.